In the pitch-black depths of the Valley of the Kings, a single broken clay seal on the tomb of Ramesses III was a crime punishable by being impaled alive on a wooden stake. This brutal execution was not just about punishing a thief, but preventing a cosmic catastrophe that would destroy the pharaoh's soul for eternity. The man standing in the suffocating dust of this royal tomb was a specialized web priest, trained in the delicate art of magical protection. These elite initiates did not just pray. They physically sealed the borders between the physical world and the terrifying Egyptian underworld, known as the Duat. On this specific morning, the priest had entered the tomb to perform routine purification rites, carrying a bowl of sacred natron water. But as his linen sleeve brushed against the outer door of the burial chamber, a hollow snap echoed through the silent stone vault. A small, baked mud seal bearing the jackal of Anubis had crumbled into dust at his feet. To understand his terror, you have to realize that the Egyptians believed a broken seal was an invitation for literal demons to enter. Without this intact boundary, the pharaoh's defenseless soul, or Ka, could be ambushed and devoured before it could reach the afterlife. If the pharaoh's soul died in the underworld, the sun itself might fail to rise, plunging the entire universe into chaotic darkness. And the law of the new kingdom was absolute when it came to protecting the cosmic order. Any mortal who disrupted this divine transition was viewed as a cosmic terrorist, deserving of the state's most agonizing punishment. The web priest knew that if the temple guards discovered the broken seal, his fate was a slow death on the impaling pole outside the temple walls. But his immediate danger was even more terrifying than the physical punishment of the pharaoh soldiers. In Egyptian theology, the moment a seal was broken, the protective spells woven into the tomb walls began to unravel. The air inside the tomb suddenly felt heavier, thick with the imaginary scent of decay and ancient wrath. The priest had only minutes to perform a desperate counter-ritual before the spiritual infection spread. He reached into his leather pouch, searching for a fresh lump of Nile silk clay that he carried for emergencies. But a new seal could not simply be slapped onto the door. It had to be spiritually recharged through intense incantation. He began reciting the litany of Re from memory, his voice trembling in the deep, echoing silence of the stone vault. He had to summon the protection of the god Ta, the divine sculptor, to bind the physical clay to the spiritual realm. As he worked the clay, sweat dripped from his shaved head, splashing onto the dusty limestone floor. Every sound in the dark tomb sounded like an approaching demon, or worse, the sandals of the temple high priest. If the high priest walked in now, there would be no trial, no explanation, and no mercy. The web priest pressed the soft clay back over the wooden latch, sealing the door once again. He then drew his bronze signet ring, engraved with the protective eye of Horus, and pressed it firmly into the wet mud. This ring was his own personal mark, meaning his life was now directly tied to the integrity of the seal. If anyone discovered it was fresh, the investigation would lead straight to him. To make the seal look ancient and untouched, he gathered fine limestone dust from the floor and carefully blew it over the wet clay. He watched as the gray powder clung to the damp mud, instantly giving it the appearance of decades of undisturbed rest. But the physical camouflage was only half the battle. The spiritual residue of his mistake still lingered in the air. He had to perform a ritual known as sweeping the footprints, erasing his physical presence so his soul energy wouldn't lead demons back to the seal. Using a broom made of sacred palm fibers, he carefully swept the floor as he backed away from the burial chamber door. With every step backward, he chanted spells of forgetting, hoping to wipe the memory of his mistake from the tomb guardians. Finally, he reached the outer threshold of the tomb, where the bright Egyptian sun cut through the darkness like a golden blade. The transition from the freezing, silent tomb to the blistering desert heat was violent and disorienting. He stepped out into the courtyard, blending in with the other temple servants who were carrying water and oil. His heart hammered against his ribs as a temple guard walked past, his bronze spear glinting in the morning light. The guard did not stop, showing no sign that anything was wrong in the sacred valley. The web priest had escaped the stake, but for the rest of his life, he would wake up sweating, wondering if the seal had held. This high-stakes terror reveals that for ancient Egyptians, the tomb was not a dead monument, but a living, breathing portal that required constant, terrifying maintenance to keep the universe from falling apart.